Now, welcome to Sports Talk with Kifue, and I'm your host, Kifue Wanjabu. Kifue Njabulo Mahlango. Errors, very in the beginning. Hey. This one most likely is going to make you guys laugh a bit, but yeah. Today I'm joined by, and you guys know what this is, right? It's Sports Talk with Kifue, the interview segment where I get athletes, agents. Yeah, I've got a few agents on the way, journalists, got managers. I'm gonna get you guys almost everyone to get you guys to understand sports. If you're a sports lover, we're gonna understand each role, almost what everyone does and how they help and make such for a great product. Because at the end of the day, sports is a business and these are people, and we want to know that these people's stories so we can know them just a bit more. But today, it's a very special one. I'm joined by the man who has made history. This man made so much history that his name is the Executioner. This man was the executioner. So, yeah, even though executions are banned in South Africa, so yeah, we do. But this man has made so much history. Won WIBF, IBO. No, he's never won that. Yeah, IBF, IBO, and WBA, and the most important one for me, I feel, the ring title. Welcome to the show, Hekkie Budler. How are you?
Thanks so much for having me. It's good to be on, and it's the most important one to me as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's how you know that you're number one in the world. That ring title.
Yeah, and it's not won by a lot of fighters. Not a lot of guys have the honor and the privilege of winning it. So I was really lucky and honored to do that.
So let's start with the very beginning. Where did you grow up, and how did you grow up seeing that like you're not the tallest guy in the world? So what actually made you interested in boxing?
Well, I grew up in Newlands, in Johannesburg. My dad boxed, and with my family, I come from a family of background of boxing. And the thing is, I played rugby in school, and soccer and cricket. And if the team lost, I didn't want to play with them. I blamed the other players, and I got upset. And I said, I'm not playing with a bunch of losers again. I couldn't play board games with my parents. I'd throw it off the table if I lost. So someone told my mom, let him do a sport that if he loses, you can't blame anybody. And my dad said, yeah, that's perfect. I told you he has to box. So I went to a boxing gym, and yeah, that's actually how it started. A weird thing, but the truth.
Boxing taught you accountability. I'm laughing because
definitely.
I'm laughing because this is so very. I also had the same problem growing up. I did not want to lose.
Yeah, very same badly. Thing. Hated it.
Who likes losing?
Yeah, that's the same thing I'm saying. I couldn't understand it. Why we'd play rugby and they would go back to the game like, oh, we lost, but it's fine tomorrow. I said, no, it doesn't care. Next week doesn't. This game is important, not next week. And I couldn't understand that. And I think that's the reason I had to box. And if I lose, I have to blame myself. I can't blame anybody else. And I think that's the reason I love boxing.
Yeah, I think people that hate losing most likely have to do things that they do by themselves. Although sometimes you get them in team sports, but most of the time you have to do individual sports or do things that you can do as an individual so that you don't blame anyone and that you are in control.
Yes, true. And like you said, I got taught through boxing how to understand losing, how to take it, and how to get used to it, and how to overcome it and do better. And I think if I wasn't a team sport, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So boxing taught me a lot, as an individual sport taught me a lot. And yeah, because when you fight, when you're in the ring, in any sport that you have to do alone, you're in there alone. You've got your trainer that gives you water in between rounds, but you're literally in there alone. Nobody's helping you while you're fighting. You're doing it alone. So it's yeah, I think that's how you learn to take it. It's an individual sport at its best.
And there's this time where I saw in one of your interviews, you said Newlands was a very tough place, and that's how you actually, that's one of the reasons you, barring hating losing, that you wanted to actually fight, or that you went
Yeah,
in.
the area near where I grew up in, there's so many fighters that actually came from here. Um, Jimmy Abbott and the Abbotts, they were brought up in Newlands. They came from the Newlands area. One year in my school, I was in a school that's Bergen High School. It was a bilingual school with English and Afrikaans.
Mm.
One year, the teacher showed me a paper, a newspaper article thing from, I think, in the early 90s, that 5 boys that were in school went to the SA championships, 4 won gold and one silver, all from my school. So I think it was I think I was just brought up in the right place to do what I do.
Yeah, that's what they say. Right place, right time, and makes for the
Definitely.
perfect opportunity.
Yeah, it worked out for me.
But okay, so you go to school. So now, when do you start taking it seriously? When do you start taking boxing like really seriously? Like, okay, now I'm gonna make a career out of this. Is it after school, or is it before you leave matric? Before you leave, you're like, okay, I've decided this is what I want to do or actually when I grow up.
For me, it was before I left school. I was a very naughty child, naughty kid. Got into a lot of fights because I didn't like a bully. I hated someone that bullied someone. So I used to stick up for the children that got bullied. And I was the smallest, as always, so I got bullied as well. So I hit one child and kid and they stopped bullying me. So I got into a lot of fights because of that. And one of my friends was also a good fighter. He's older than me. He was like my mentor type thing. He told me that you should never do this. If you want to be something in boxing, your hands are the most important things you have. They're literally your equipment. Your hands are your equipment. They're the things you use. And what if you get into a fight and you break your hands? What do you do? And I took it to heart, and I just decided I'm going to stop everything. People would swear me and tell me, and I said, no, it's fine, thank you. And I'd turn around and walk away. It's just, I grew up quick. I think in the boxing sense, I grew up quick. I realized quick that if I want to be a world champ, if I want to be the SA champ as an amateur that I wanted to be, if I wanted to go to the Olympics, which was a plan as an amateur, that I have to stop all this fighting and making nonsense in school and concentrate on what I want to be. And God willing, God blessed me that I opened my eyes quick enough and I realized my dream, because I've got a lot of friends that I believe could have been world champions, and because of drinking and partying and jolling and the other side of life, they didn't turn out well for them and never became what I feel they should have become. Because in boxing there happens so much, where some of the guys that are the most talented guys that they don't even have to train, they just have to pitch up and they win their fight, throw it all away. Well, I promise you, I have to train every single day of my life to be able to win. And at least, God willing, God blessed me in the sense that I realized that soon enough, and I fixed myself up and realized that I need to stop and need to step up and train. I think I was 14 or 15 years old when I realized that I honestly, if I want to take this seriously, I have to put my heart and soul into it. And I did.
You had self-awareness from a very young age. Like, where does that come from? Like, you being so self-aware that, I have to work hard in order to get to where someone has to get to, and they don't have to work that hard. And sacrifices, what's this? They say there's living, the greatness comes from sacrifice. Great people don't, people that achieve great things hardly have balance. It's mostly a lot of work and a little bit of fun.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm going to be straight up. I never had a 16th birthday party. I never had an 18th birthday party. I didn't have a 21st birthday party. My 30th, I didn't have. Every single time, my 16th and my 18th, I was actually fighting championships. So I couldn't have a party. I was training. My 21st, I was boxing. My 30th, I was fighting in Japan for 3 world titles. So why have a party when you're fighting for world titles? So I've given up a lot. I've lost a lot of friends because of it, because They couldn't understand the fact, especially when the guys are 18 to 21. You know yourself, when you're that age, it's, oh, you're going to go for a jog, we're allowed to go out partying. And a lot of my friends couldn't understand that I couldn't go with, or I couldn't go to their 21st party or their 18th party because I'm fighting. I'm busy in training camp. But at the end of the day, I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I did it. There'll be time for partying when I retire, most probably. But then again, like you said, it has to be a balancing act. When I'm not fighting, I'll have my little bit of vodka and orange juice. Half a tot's enough, because I think if I drink 3, I'll pass out. But you have to have a balance, like you say, because I believe as well, if you don't do any naughty things while you're fighting, when you retire, what are you going to do? You're going to try everything you can. So it has to be a balancing act, and you have to play it right. But when it's time to fight and when it's time to train, all the naughty things go out of the window, and you focus on one thing, and that's winning.
Man, strange. Floyd, one of the most flamboyant boxers of all time. Yet he's also one of the most disciplined athletes in the world. He takes care of his body like a temple. Like you also said, that my hands are your equipment, what you use. So like, I'm not gonna fight you outside the ring. And also, please.
And if you look at Floyd, what he's achieved, the amount of money the man has made, because the one thing I don't like about Floyd, he's lost a lot outside of boxing, because they say he's undefeated. I get it, yes, but not a lot of people like him. That's where I differ to him. I can't be that brash and that cocky, and I'm not that type of person. I'd rather be friends with everybody, and still have a losing record. It doesn't bother me. As long as people respect me and like me, I'm happy. I'm cool with that. But what he's done for the sport is amazing. But then he fights these guys, the Paul brothers. They're making a mockery of the sport. But in other sense, people are watching boxing because of them. So it's always a toss-up. A guy like Floyd fighting a guy that's got 0 fights. But yeah, then again, it works out. It works for us. So why not?
But would you fight a YouTuber? Would you?
If the money is on the table, of course. I think anybody would. There's a lot of straight down fighters at the time. They'll never do it. I'm telling you now, if they tell you they're going to give you what they gave Floyd, I'll say I'll jump into the ring 3 times in that night. I'll fight Mike Tyson for you if you pay me that amount of money. I don't care.
But who's this? Tyron Woodley has made what, $2 million more than he's ever made in his UFC in a single purse
career.
Yes, and that's just his purse, and that's not even counting pay-per-view. $2 million.
No, that's what I mean. And these guys aren't even. He's not even a boxer. he's the UFC fight. It's not the same sport. Where I think if he had to fight Paul in the UFC fight, he'll probably kill him in like 30 seconds or something, have him choked out or something. But that's the weird thing. People want to watch it. They want to watch the loud mouths and the guys that are cocky. And I think that's why a guy like Floyd made so much money, is because people want to literally watch him lose. That's the only reason they watch him, is to watch him lose. And I'm happy for them. It's good for them.
Don't you think that's the reason why people also watched Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, most definitely, because he was so brash and things. See but that's a difference. Muhammad Ali, the way he did it, people liked him. Well, back in that time, there's a lot of guys that people didn't like him because he was so brash. But he wasn't as bad as Floyd. He didn't throw it in people's faces like Floyd does. Like, I walk around with $1 million and things like that. All good to him. I honestly think he's one of the greatest fighters in history. But you don't have to be that brash and throw it in people's faces. I don't believe in things like that.
But don't you think that's also due to a bit of business acumen that he proved? You know, he gets a lot of backlash. Obviously, people saying he can't read. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. And then he also bet on himself. Remember, he left ring. What's this? Top Boy, right? Or Golden Boy?
Golden Boy, yeah.
Yeah, he left Golden Boy because he said he wanted $5 million to fight Oscar. And then they said, no, they can't give him that. He left, he bought himself out of that contract, started his own promotion. And since then, he's made a lot of money promoting himself.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah,
also,
I think
yeah.
his business sense is immaculate. I also don't know if he can read or not. I've heard that also, as well. But the thing is, if he's that clever in making money, and the thing that I've heard as well, they said people are saying that he needs to fight because he's run out of money, but he's made very clever investments, as I can understand it, and he has clever people around him. So I think he's got a very good business sense. And it's true, he's made it. He was clever. He was clever in what he did, and he made it. He fought a lot of the fighters he fought were at the end of their careers. Like when he fought Oscar, Oscar was done. He should have been retired 2-3 years before that. The Pacquiao fight, he fought Pacquiao at the right time. Although I still think he would have beaten Pacquiao either way.
Canelo also.
He's clever. He's a very clever oak. He's a very, very clever oak. Even though people say he can't read, if I had his business sense, I wouldn't care if I can't read, honestly.
People are also saying he also fought Canelo a bit too early. Or Canelo said that, and even Oscar.
Yeah, no, definitely he did. But that's not Floyd's fault. They wanted to fight him, so he fought him. He was clever. Like I said, he fought a lot of guys. They were past their prime. They were over already. But you fight what they put in front of you, or you fight who you pay to fight you. And if they want to fight, you fight. That's how it works in the game. No matter who's in front of you, you fight.
But in my opinion, I feel like Canelo is a bit. I get it that he's saying he fought him too early, but dude, you had already like 40-something professional fights. Like, how much more practice do you need before fighting Floyd?
You see, the big difference is Floyd had a massive amateur career. So he had a lot, he went to the Olympics and all that, but Canelo didn't. Canelo turned pro, I think, at 15 years old or something. So they had to give him that 40 of whatever fights to have some sort of boxing brain, because he wasn't good at all. When he started, he was not good. But the thing is as well, the age difference was also a big factor, because Floyd is so clever and knows what to do. And I think the only way Canelo can beat him is if they have to fight now, because Floyd, I think, passed it. But the only way he could have beaten if you caught him with a good shot. Floyd's style was just too good for Canelo. Canelo's style would not suit Floyd. It's just a matter of fact. Oscar's style was one of the only styles I thought that could beat Floyd. And what's his name? That the other guy almost beat him there at the rematch, and Floyd destroyed him.
Mexican, right? Yes. He's the Mexican.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, what was his name? Yeah, that guy almost beat him. Yeah.
It's because he kept on going at him in the first
pressure, because if you watch Oscar's fight as well, Oscar threw the fight away in the last 3 rounds when he started moving and thought he won the fight, and he could have won.
Yeah, his name also escapes me, that guy.
Marcus Maidana.
Yeah, Marcus Maidana. So what do you think that you guys can do? Like, because when I researched a bit, when I did a bit of research on you, it says you left one of the fights. What's this? IBO or IBF? IBO or IBF? I don't remember. IBF, due to the purse was being low, they offered you like $25,000. And you have
actually even less than that. It was less than that.
Huh? So how much was that purse?
See, I think it was like 12,000 or something.
US
they have to separate it. And then, but you must also, a lot of people think, that's a lot of money. That has to last me till I fight again. I only get half of that money out, because 25% goes to tax, 25% goes to my manager and trainer. So you only get 50% out. And then it has to last you till you fight again. So it's a hard juggling act. When you, so like you say, like when you're someone like Floyd, the whole world knows who you are. It's easy to play that. You can choose who you want to fight and how you want to fight. The thing is, with my weight division being so small, it's hard to get the recognition in those types of countries, like in the States or in Europe, because most guys from my weight division are from Africa, from South Africa, actually from East London mostly, and then the Asian countries. That's where mostly my weight divisions come from.
And that makes it harder for marketing, especially. Man.
Exactly. You can understand that. Most people don't.
They don't understand how big of a machine US marketing actually is. And you need that big machine, or even in Europe, when you get guys like what's Eddie Hearn is building there in UK with
Yeah,
guys like Dylan White
he's making it massive there.
and Joshua and
Exactly.
oh, so how do you feel that you guys, so do you guys feel like you should be a bit more brash, or in order for you guys to actually get that recognition? Because that recognition, it comes at a cost. Do you think guys think you need someone that's almost Floyd like to actually give your guys' division something, to give everyone
Yeah,
something?
maybe. I understand what you mean. Yeah. I maybe there's one fighter, Monster Ina, who was actually my weight. He's heavier now. He knocks out everybody, and that's how he got recognition. So maybe if you can be a knockout artist and knock out everybody, that can happen. But I think that's like you saying, you have to be a loudmouth, brash, you want to challenge everybody and think. I think people will take note then. But then as well, you have to be able to back yourself up. Yeah, if Floyd wasn't undefeated, I don't think he would have been what he is. You could have had the mouth. If he wasn't as good as he is, he would not have done it. That's another big problem. With those guys in the European, the big problem in South Africa at the moment, in the European countries, and in America as well, these guys have massive amateur records. They fight amateur fights. They go all over because the country is it's supported. The governing body supports the amateur boxing, so they can go overseas a lot. Where in South Africa, with the funds and the rand being so weak at the moment, it's hard for our amateur fighters to be able to fight, to go to England and fight there, to go to even Cameroon, say, and going to fight a nice tournament there. When I was amateur in the national team, we fought Zone 6 and we went to a tournament in Thailand. And it was, yes, for us, it was like, wow, we're going to Thailand. We're fighting the best. These guys are insane. When it was the finals, half of the teams from Russia, the Russians, the Kazakhstanians, those guys left. They used that tournament only as a warm-up, just to warm up their fighters, and then they left. They didn't even fight the finals. And for us, it was like, wow, look at this tournament. We're a bit behind in that department, in that sense. That's why South Africa didn't even have any fighters qualify for the Olympics.
So did you qualify? Have you qualified? I didn't see that. Did you qualify for the Olympics?
No. A lot of people thought I went to qualifying. It was in 2007. The Olympics was 2008. I turned pro before the qualifying of the Olympics. I had a bit of a fallout with the amateur body, and I decided to turn pro.
Because I didn't see it when I did a bit of research. I was just wondering, like, hey, Olympics. I was like, hey, what did I do now?
No, I was in the national team for the Olympics, but I turned pro before the qualifying even. Yeah.
So now, what do you think that South African boxing can actually do to actually better ourselves? Because at this point, gate takings are down, and obviously Corona is playing a part in it. But if you look at what Joshua and Klitschko did with 90,000 inside an entire arena. But it's not only boxing that's failing to attract people to come to them.
Everything at the moment.
Even football, I mean, soccer, they're failing terribly to attract supporters. Even when they're open, it's only just one game where you see the stadium packed. And then cricket, domestic cricket, people don't go and watch domestic cricket a lot. And it's rugby that's a bit full, but when the national team plays, it's packed to the rafters. But what do you think South African boxing can do to actually improve itself and to actually get to a standard where we're producing more world champions? Because at this point, we're not producing a whole lot. I'm talking about proper.
Oh, the first step to producing world champions is to getting better, the guys, like I said, the amateur fighters to fight better opponents, to fight against the Russians, to fight against the guys from Japan and Asian countries and the European countries, and go to better tournaments. I know it's hard. It's a hard thing to do because money is it's hard because they need money. You need money to take a team of say 6 fighters. You have to pay for their flights. You have to pay for their accommodation. They have to have 2 coaches with them. So it costs a lot of money. So money needs to be put into the sport. And then when it is to attract people and even to attract TV to boxing, the tournaments that they started to put on. That's why, out my eyes, I feel why TV put out and people started stopping watching boxing, because of the fights they put on. They weren't entertaining. There was like 6 fights with 6 first-round knockouts, which isn't entertaining. You at least want to see one knockout, one fight that goes to 10, 12 rounds where the two guys are hitting each other, going full out tongs. And that's what you want to see. You want to see good fights, the best fighting the best. And I think South Africa was a bit of there's one guy's fighting a guy that nobody knows. It's import from somewhere, nobody knows who he is, and he gets knocked out in 1 or 2 rounds. And people were getting tired of watching that. In my opinion, that's what I feel. They needed to put on better fights. Like you say, why would people, 100,000 people, whatever the case, go and watch Joshua fight someone? Because it's good fights. Because people want to see who he's fighting, how good is the guy that he's fighting, because then they get good opponents to fight against these guys. Like how you said, they want to make Joshua against Tyson Fury, which I think will sell out Wembley Arena probably. It will. That's how many people will watch. It's plain and simple. And we need to get back to that standard. We need to, from the amateur boxing, start getting better fighters, getting fighters, more fights, getting them overseas, and then building up the brand, building up the boxing brand, getting them fighters, better fighters fight each other, getting better fighters into South Africa to fight against our fighters, and getting our fighters out there to fight overseas against better fighters.
It's very, no, couldn't agree with you more. I always said that we have to get people interested into the product again, and also trying to make it available to as many people as possible. Maybe put a few fights on SABC, even if they can be played after, and so that a lot more people can get awareness and know these people, because the less people know you, the less money that you guys can actually also make through sponsorships and whatsoever.
Yes. And the thing is, South Africa is a country that's got a boxing dynasty. We've had world champions how many years? How many great fighters can you just name with the tips of your fingers? You can just think of a name and it pops into your head, and they were great fighters. And South Africa, the thing is, most boxers, most good fighters come from poor countries. If you think about it, from poor backgrounds. And South Africa, there's a lot of us here. There's a lot of poor people in this country. And there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of fighters. But like you say, there's not a lot of tournaments happening. So a lot of the fighters don't have the means. If they don't fighting, they're not making money. So they have to stop fighting to get another job to make money. And that's, a lot of fighters are stopping boxing because of that. Although I know it's COVID, I know all this, but there needs to be more fights. There needs to be like a tournament every weekend, every second weekend, something like that. There needs to be more promoters involved and people to get involved, like more sponsorships that can pick up boxing again. It's always been like our national sport. Boxing, when we were banned from doing any other sport, the only sport we did was boxing, the whole country. Like Brian Mitchell had to go overseas to defend his titles, but everybody watched him. The country watched him. He was a white boy fighting in apartheid era, but people watched him. It was boxing because we had all the fighters. Bjorn Bungu, he fought everywhere. Everybody watched these guys. Why can't it be the same today? It's because it's not, I don't know if it's not promoted right, if it's not shown right. I don't know. I don't really know the real answers.
And even people like Dingan Tobela and Baby Jake Matlala.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you can just name them like that.
we had people with serious titles, because it's with us. I think also a lot of people are afraid to admit this, but during the apartheid era, we produced one of them. We were producing great athletes. I'm not saying that, I'm saying there's something that they did right when it came to sports, because immediately when we left apartheid with football, we won something. With cricket, we are very good. Now we suck. Rugby, with football, we suck.
Shut up.
Rugby is the only sport that's still about very good at an elite level, because we have over 1,000 rugby players playing all over the world. We're exporting so many rugby players. And then with boxing, we used to be at a very high level, and now we're not. There's something that they did right. There's a blueprint there. We need to go and take that blueprint and implement it back now, because it seems like things aren't working out the way that now these people are trying to push how everything's supposed to work. We need to go fetch that blueprint and actually make it work. And take that blueprint, maybe rejig it a bit, and let's see what can happen.
Yeah, they must have done something right. It was a terrible time for the country, but they did something right because we had very good fighters. Even for the years after that, the early 90s, we had brilliant fighters. Philip Ndo, Cassius Bloy, the brilliant fighters. But it just took a nosedive all of a sudden. I don't know what happened. I believe we still have some good fighters. Maruti Mtulani recently lost his IBF world title, but still he's one of the elite fighters in the world. We've got some young up-and-coming fighters that I've in our gym that I see can become world champions. But like I said, there was something missing. There was something, but hopefully, God willing, things will get better because the talent I see, even only in my gym, is insane. The young guys. It's weird for me to say the young guys because they are young guys compared to me. It's very crazy, and because I used to be the young guy. But like I said, there was something different, and I think the reason is because they fought so much. There was so much boxing on the whole time. There was boxing every weekend. There was more promoters involved, and I think that's what we need to get back to. Because the young guys, like I said, if they're not fighting, they're not making money. What are you going to do? You can't box. You need to make money somehow. You need to do something else, and that's what the guys are doing. They're leaving the sport to make money, to put bread on the table, and that's just how it is. That's what we all have to do.
Do you think that the paper, how do you think, okay, a lot of people have actually complained about promoters. You get a lot of people in the US saying, we can't get the fights that we want in boxing, unlike in the UFC, where it's one promoter has a lot of fighters and we're going to link you. We're going to make you guys fight each other. When the people want to fight, we get it immediately. Instead of boxing where you have two promoters, one still wants to do this and still wants to do that. And then when we get the fight that we actually wanted, it's too late.
That's the thing that's also killing boxing globally. We were talking about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather trains and promotes a fighter. What's his name?
Gervonta Davis.
He's got 23 fights, 22 knockouts. Brilliant. He's a brilliant fighter. Now, there's a guy from Scotland.
No,
Davis. There's a guy from Scotland, Josh Taylor. It is Davis. I don't know what, but anyway, now they have to actually fight each other because Taylor's got all 4 of the world titles and Davis has got some WA something title. But Floyd said, why must I fight him? He's not under my banner. Why must they fight each other? I don't want to make other promoters make money, which, okay, I get the sense you want to make the money, but still, you want the best fighters to fight the best fighters. That's what the public wants to see. So that's breaking the sport. That's hurting the sport.
Yeah, and people are saying Jamal Charlo can maybe give Canelo a run for his money. You know. But
I think it'll be good. Charlo's a very good fighter, honestly, but I don't think Canelo's. He's not. It's levels. The sport has levels, and I think it's the same level.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's now get back to you. Kind of like diverted for like a very long time.
I enjoy boxing. I enjoy talking about boxing, so it's okay to me with me.
Okay. So you coming so yeah, you start and then you start in 2008 and then in 2010 you win you in the flyweight division, you win an IBO, and then in 2011 you go down to strawweight, you're like nah, you win that IBO one and then you go 9 undefeated fights and then you win the WA. How did it feel in that stretch and what did you get right in that stretch and why did you drop a weight division? And
the thing is, the reason we dropped weight division because I just trained. I never pulled any weight. I just trained normally, and I trained like in long pants and a short shirt, and the other guys were training with jackets on and to lose weight. I never did. So I was already smaller than the guys that I was fighting. So we just said, let's try. You pull a bit of weight and see what happens. Colin, my manager and trainer said, let's just try it, Hekkie. Just see how it is. And it actually worked out. I felt very strong. I felt much stronger than I was as a junior fly, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it worked out very well. And so now when you start losing these titles, how did losing your, let's say, to Byron Rojas, how did that feel?
Oh, that was actually, I was upset because I lost that fight. I shouldn't have been in the ring. But that's not my own fault. But yeah, it's I hate losing. Like I told you in the start, I hate losing so much. That was not like but all good to him. He came prepared. He was happy. I was supposed to actually knock him out. To be dead honest with you, I was that much better than him. It's not to be ugly or to brag or anything. I should have. That was the plan. They said I'm going to knock him out. That's why they chose him for me to fight. It didn't work out. But like I said, like I've always said, things happen for a reason. I believe I had to lose that fight because I moved back up to junior fly after that, and yeah, I won 3 world titles in one night. So losing one in one night it's not that bad.
Minor setbacks for major comebacks. That's my favorite.
Yes, definitely.
That's Nipsey Hussle's line. It's like minor setbacks.
Yeah, it works. It works.
But how did it feel when you won 3 major titles at one go and you became the first South African to hold 2 major world titles since the 1950s at the same time? After you even knocked the guy out, and then you were the first South African to hold the ring belt. You were the second one. Okay, but the first one since 2001 or 2002.
No. It's the first one since 1954.
No, I'm saying since the Boxing Act, remember?
Yeah, but the first South African to win a ring magazine was Victor Wheel.
Yeah,
and
I know.
At that stage, yeah, there was only one world title, and it was the ring magazine. There was none of the belts, which makes it quite special. There was only, I think, 8 weight divisions back then, so that was actually brilliant for him. But yeah, it was a great honor to win the 3 world titles. Was something just I can't explain it, because my dream when I turned pro, I told Colin, I want to be a world champion and I want to win the ring magazine belt. That was always my dream, and lucky God blessed me, and my dream came true. But that's the thing of boxing. Of anything in sport, anything in life. If you achieve your dream, you have to think of something else. You have to think, what else can I win? What else is there? And that's a hard thing to build yourself up and want to win again and want to win something else. And my dream now is to be a world champion again. I want to be a world champion again. That's my goal, my aim, and God willing, I can do it.
So now that you've just won a fight against El Camino, or I don't know, guys, maybe I'm just messing up his name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, don't worry, don't even ask me.
I'm sorry.
Kakawa, Kakamonichi, I don't know.
Yeah. So after you beat him, what's your next? Who do you want to fight next, or what's the next move from here?
Well, hopefully this year we can get one more fight. I'm rated number 2 in the WBC. It's a belt I haven't won, so I'd like to win it. So if I'm number 1, I'll be able to fight for it. So hopefully I can have another fight this year. That's the plan. We want to fight again this year. Hopefully that can happen, and yeah, then we can wait for the opportunity to fight for WBC world title again.
So who are you fixing up to fight? Because you want
the probably the top guy in the division is Ken Shiro. But if I get the opportunity to have a rematch against a guy who beat me for my ring belt, I'd love to fight him again. They'll be even better. But whoever comes first, whichever champion gives me opportunity to fight him, I just welcome it and say thank you and take the opportunity.
Okay, so how do you what is the biggest prize that you've ever made from boxing?
Sure. I never talk money, but let me think. If you talked about how much let's say the EFC fighter made, I've not made, let me work it out, 2% of what he's made ever in any of my fights.
What?
You said you got paid 10 million. I've never made not even 2 million. So I've not even made, well, probably not even 2-3% of what he's made in any of my fights. And he had one fight. And it wasn't even for a world title, yeah.
So that's why you live in in a sort of a modest setting, and it's because the division isn't pulling in a lot of money. It isn't because the division is pulling in a lot of money, and it's affecting you guys because you guys also can't have things. You can't, sometimes certain people can't. You can't perform at the maximum level because you're not making a lot of money. And so, do you have any plans on what you're going to do once you retire?
Yeah, no, what I do is I train most fighters in South Africa that I know. We all train. We're personal trainers, so we train people on the side as well. My dream is one day to open a gym and train normal people, not fighters. If it comes to that, I will. But I'd like to train normal, everyday people to get them involved, to get them fit, to get them healthy, and get them loving boxing. That's the plan. The more people I can get that enjoy the sport, the better for all the other fighters. So yeah, I'd like to try open a gym and hopefully people enjoy my training and make a living of that.
Have you ever thought about going into promotions?
Yeah, I think every fighter thinks of it, but I don't know if I'm cut out for that type of line of work. I think I'm too nice of a person. I think I'd lose myself with those people. Honestly, I don't know. I think I train fighters. That's the peak of it. I think I'll train fighters, and that's about it. I don't think I'll go any further, and that's even a stretch for me to say I'll train fighters.
Yeah,
Because there's so much politics in sports when it comes to money and things, and I don't know if will be able to handle that.
yeah. It's amazing that you're so self-aware. Like, I'm too nice. Not do it at the skip of a heart. You're like, hey, want me to? Nah. I think, but maybe your self-awareness is most likely your greatest quality. It's what got you to where you are, because you know your limitations and you know what you can do and you know what you can't do. But your coach has said that you try a lot of things. So you try a lot of things, see what works and what doesn't work, and then you stick to what you can do. That's what you strike me as a boxer, as a
Yeah,
person.
yeah, most definitely. But then again, I'm also one of those guys that always want to push myself. That's my thing is I always want to fight the best fighters in the world. I want to fight the best guys in my division. Down plain and simple. And that's why when I train for a fight, like I told you earlier, I train myself to pieces. I train because I don't want to leave anything out there and say, what if I did something different? Would it have been different outcoming the fight? I don't want there to be any doubt in my mind that I did everything possible to win. And I think that's you should be like that in anything you do in life as well. Even if you're a business person, work at it with your whole heart, believe in everything you do, and push yourself to do even better. That's just my motto. But always strive to be better and work better.
So with there's a quote that you said in one of the articles I read. You said your wife should tell you, or your family, or even your trainer should tell you how, if you now your speech starts slurring or you start now looking a bit punch drunk, like you
Yeah,
you
no,
need to stop immediately.
before my speech starts slurring, before my speech starts slurring, I want to stop fighting. I don't want to talk like that at all. I told them, even my coach, I told my wife, and I told my parents, when they see me slowing down, when my hand speed isn't the same, when my reactions aren't the same, when it takes me triple the amount or double the amount of time to get fit, they must tell me, and I'll call it quits. I'll stop boxing. I love it with all my heart, but I've always told them when they've seen me had enough, when my body's had enough, they must tell me, and I'll stop. Because us as fighters, we never want to stop. We want to keep on fighting and prove to people that we will. Like we were talking about Oscar De La Hoya earlier, he's also making a comeback. The guy's 44 years or 45 years old, and he's making a comeback. What's the point of it? And I don't want to be in that situation. I want when I stop, I want to call it quits, and I want to stop wherever.
How do you, like, with you at that time? I mean, you kind of you have kind of a superstar status at that point. So how do you find a wife that you can trust at that point?
Oh, my wife I've known from school days. We actually never dated when we were in school. We actually got together after school. But I think I was lucky. My wife's always been supportive of me. thing is, in a lot of sport instances, or people that make something of themselves, they go into the wrong people and they get married to the wrong person. It happens a lot. But God willing, I married my right wife. She looks after me. She does everything that I need, especially when it's fight time. You must see. I'm very lucky. She packs my clothes out. She makes my food, everything for me. I'm very, very blessed in that manner. And she understands that when it's fight time, it's fight time. There's nothing changes. It's nothing different. It's only fight. That's the only thing on my mind. And I was lucky enough to understand it. I don't actually know how you work it out. You have to be lucky. I was very lucky, and God blessed me with a beautiful and wonderful wife. I'm very blessed in that department.
Yeah, man, it's very strange. A lot of people are out here finding people that they can't trust, but a lot of times it's you start knowing the person when you're already at the peak of or at the upper echelons of whatever you're doing, and now you can't trust anyone once you reach the top without a lot of help from people that weren't there before.
Well, it depends. Sometimes the right people come on only later in life. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen. But it's true what you say. A lot, especially with fighters. If you look at how many fighters have lost everything because they trusted the wrong people. They got with friends and said, "No, let's go do this. If you invest in this, you're going to make money. If you buy this, you're going to look good." And a lot of fighters, like I told you, like in South Africa, I think we can have a lot of good fighters because we're a poor country. And a lot of fighters, like myself included, a lot of other guys, and they come from poor backgrounds. So when the money starts coming in, what do? When the guys don't know how to spend money or how to invest money or how to do with money, they go and buy cars, they go and buy 20 houses, and they buy the girlfriend 6 cars and buy the girlfriend this and the guys retire and they have to come back to boxing. So it's a big juggling act for fighters and for any sportsman. It's a juggling act, and you have to know the people around you. That's why I say a guy like Floyd Mayweather, he was very clever. He made very clever investments.
So have you thought about your financial future or what you're gonna? Oh, but you said you're gonna open up a gym. But besides that,
that's my plan. Well, I just wanna. I don't think I'll ever be a millionaire or anything like that. God willing, I will. But I just want to live a good life. Make sure my family is well looked after. Make sure my child can do what she wants to do in life and be happy. That's the one thing. Even if I have to work, I really don't care. As long as my family is happy and we can live a normal, good life, I'm happy.
You're straight. That's very strange because I was interviewing Tiwe Nabi the other week, and he was like, for him a 9 to 5, I just won't work.
No, it all depends. If I need to do that to make my family happy, I'll do it. I'll work a 9 to 10 if I have to. I don't care. As long as I can make them happy and support them and make sure they've got food on the table, I'm happy.
Yeah. So your happiness derives from your family's happiness, and that's about it.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
You're a very humble person and you're a very calm person. That's what you strike me as. And
Thank you.
So why do you love spiders so much? For me, animals don't get.
I actually, one of my a guy was out today. He actually fixed our ceiling because our ceiling broke, and he was looking at the cages and he asked me, "What's in the cages?" No, just a bunch of tarantulas. The guy said, "No, I don't want to come into the house anymore." I actually don't know why. What's my fascination with these? I love tarantulas. I love scorpions. I had a bunch of snakes when I was younger, but my wife said I have to get rid of them. They cost too much money because they ate rabbits, and we have to buy them like 3-4 rabbits at a time because they were massive snakes. And I don't know what it is, why I like them so much. I just enjoy it. I just enjoy the weird types of things. I don't know why.
Yeah, but you're a boxer.
I actually took one of my snakes to one of my weigh-ins one day. They wanted to ban me from the boxing. They said if I don't take my snakes away, I'm not allowed to weigh. So yeah, it's quite funny.
Yeah, boxing in South Africa has to improve, and a lot of sports in South Africa have to improve, but most of it is down to management and how it's run. I mean, even Saskok were even struggling to give athletes bonuses for getting gold medals and breaking world records. And that's just sad. A lot of administrative problems that we have in South African sports, and you've literally you are the you have reminded me of a lot. For me, all I've taken away a lot, and also I've taken away that self-awareness is very important. Know what you can do and know what you can't do, but be willing to try a lot of things. That's what I've actually learned from you.
Most definitely.
Self-awareness is very
That's how life works. You have to try and achieve new things and win and make new things for yourself. Try and be better always.
There's really nothing that you can do without being self-aware, and so I've got to work on my self-awareness. And Tesha Malepe told me that I've got to be patient, because you gotta have hard work, dedication, and the last thing, patience. I don't have patience, man, but we're getting there, starting to add patience a bit. Now we're gonna add self-awareness. Now I'm gonna start seeing what am I good at and what am I not good at. Maybe this is not working out, guys. Maybe I'm not a good conversationalist.
No, but you're good to me, so don't worry. I'm enjoying myself, I promise
you. Yeah. So it's all about being self-aware and just pushing the boundaries and moving forward. And I'm gonna keep on bringing you guys interviews, and I'm working on, hey guys, I'm still, there's something that I'm working on that you guys won't see now, but you guys will see in the future. But I'm gonna go to the world very soon.
Yeah, amen to that. I'm praying for you to do it, and you need more South Africans in the world stage, and I believe you can do it. God willing, you can. We pray for you to do it, definitely. You have to believe in yourself as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for those kind words, and I will. And something that there are a few things that I'm working on, and what the reason why I always say this in when I wrap up an interview is, if there's one thing of why I always started this thing, is so that we can start getting to know our sports stars and our personalities a bit more. Sometimes you guys just think these people, done, Hekkie Budler, world champion, this guy's got mine. Now when you start researching, you're like, hey, he isn't making a lot of money, and sponsorships aren't there. There are a lot of things. Just because someone is doing something great, sometimes it doesn't mean that that they are making a lot of money. Sometimes maybe he'll be the sacrificial lamb for someone else to make a lot of money, because someone else has to crawl before someone else can walk, and someone has to walk before you can run. That's just how the world works, and it's very sad, but that's how the world works. Someone had to crawl for me to get to wherever I am, and your father had to be in a boxing ring or in a boxing setup for you to go and be a boxer.
Exactly.
So I just want people to get to know people's personality and their lives and their life stories just a bit more, so that when they meet you, they can say, hey, Hekkie, I know a bit more about you, and just so we can be personable. And because in America, interviews are very important for them. They drive their marketing. That's how, when you check a lot of these American dudes, check there are interviews and whatnot that they are doing so that they can get their names out there. Also, they do a lot of, obviously, they when it comes to whatever matches that they have, fights or whatever, also marketing is involved. But marketing in interviews is very important for them. They take it very seriously, and I think in South Africa we're not taking it as seriously, and I am trying to put it to that level. I'm gonna get us there one day.
And thank you for that.
I'm gonna get us there. And thank you very much, Hekkie Budler, for your time. And you've been such a great guest. Oh, Hey, you guys don't know. I've had a long day, but it's all been worth it, to be honest. And yeah, doing my research on you, and sometimes I was surprised. I knew that you had made so much history, but something surprised me. Certain things surprised me, and I was like, "What?" And
Hopefully,
your
it was good surprises.
yeah, and your father's name is Hector, and you are Hekkie.
Exactly the
I was
same.
like, this is Hector Junior. This one,
Exactly.
yeah.
I actually don't even know where the Hekkie comes from. My name's Hector, but they call me Hekkie. I honestly don't know where it comes from. But yeah, because I'm maybe because we're so small, I think.
Yeah, but and you didn't get bullied a lot. You see, the thing is with most short people, they don't get bullied. That's a mistake that people make. They thinking just because someone's short, they get bullied. No, short people realize from a very early stage, hey, I'm short or I'm small. People will start picking on me, so I have to learn how to fight, or I will fight back.
Actually, I didn't even think of that. Maybe that's what my dad told me to box. You never know.
Yeah, maybe to help you protect yourself. It's like, hey, let's go there, and then you became great at it. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, this has been Sports Talk with Kifue. And thank you so much, Hekkie Budler, for your time once again. And guys,
Thanks so much. Keep up the good work, guys. Tune in, watch the show, enjoy it like me.
yeah, always we'll keep growing, and each and every day, I will keep on growing the channel. Don't worry, people are gonna watch these interviews, and these are gonna be this is gonna be the chronicles of Kifue one day, and you guys are gonna start learning a lot more about these people, because interviews are very important, guys. We need to know people. Once you know a person's story, then you fall in love with the person, and then these people start getting more endorsements and sponsorships, and that's what athletes need, because sometimes there isn't enough money in sports. That's the sad reality. Thank you guys for watching, and this has been Sports Talk with Kivu, and I'm out. Thanks.
Take care.